Yo, it's AC here with the first video on the channel. This may be the first or last video I ever do on this channel, but who knows? Who fucking cares? We'll find out later. I don't know. Anyway, in this video, we're going to rank anime from the spring 2023 season. Now, of course, I won't rank them all. I'll only talk about the ones I know of. I'll also give my thoughts on them after giving a small summary of what the show is about. I might say it's trash, peak fiction, or a complete waste of effort. Then, I'll rank them all on a tier list made of pretty simple stuff. We've all seen it before. My Star is a show about a doctor who really loves idols and a terminally ill patient who really wants to be one. They both seem to be interested in this one idol named Ai, who is at the time one of the most popular idols out there. One day, Ai shows up to our MC's hospital and shows up pregnant. So, our MC, the doctor, strongly volunteers to help Ai deliver her kids, and for the next couple months helps her with the process. On the day of the delivery, the MC spots a stalker outside of the hospital, and instead of calling security, he follows the guy inside of a nearby forest and is eventually pushed off a cliff. And then he dies.
Your brain doesn't.
He is then... what's the word? He's reincarnated as one of Ai's twins, named Aqua. You know, at this point, I was just happy that Ai didn't die, because that would have made me so fucking angry. But then... she dies. Alright, apart from all that, I watched the rest of the season. I liked it. It was pretty good. The rest of the season just the main character finessing his way to, get to his goal. Season 2 was just announced recently, so yeah, I'll definitely be watching that. Now, with all that being said, I think My Star deserves a spot in B tier. Next up is Hell's Paradise. Now, when I first heard of this show, I heard it was part of the
Shonen Dark Trio.
I don't know what the special title is for. I'm guessing it means it's just as irrationally violent as Attack on Titan. Now, 10 seconds into the episode, the main character is already trying to be brutally murdered. Like, they tried to use bulls to rip my boy apart, but they were simply just not built for it. Anyway, since they can't kill him, the Shogun sends him to this mysterious island called Paradise, along with other convicts to get something called the Elixir of Life. There's a whole bunch of crazy looking creatures crawling around with these gods named Tencent, who are immortal. One thing I do like about this show is the fighting, especially from the main character. Sometimes this guy just absolutely refuses to stop hurting people. He also introduced his power system towards the end of the show called Tao. It's kind of like Ned from Hunter x Hunter, but the only difference is that it can't be beaten into you. I forgot to mention that if they don't find the Elixir of Life, they'll all be killed. So when you consider everything, it's kind of like Suicide Squad. Other than that, I was pretty satisfied with what I saw. It looks like a pretty promising shonen, and it's getting a season 2. Hell's Paradise, A tier. Next is MASH. This show in a lot of ways is like Black Clover. It's set in a magical society, there's prejudice, and the MC is ripped out of his fucking mind. Now when I first saw this show on Mal, I thought it was made by the same person that made One Punch Man. But I was wrong, it was made by someone completely different. Now in this society, they don't really judge you on your grimoire or anything, it's really about how much lines you have on your face. Having 2 means you're cracked, having 1 means you're an average person, and having 0 means you're just an outcast of society. And MASH, the MC, has 0 lines. So since people with no lines on their face are treated like criminals, some police officer tries to arrest him.
What the hell?
Yeah, so the guy fails miserably. So he helps MASH get into a magic school. Then he tells him if he can become the Divine Visionary, he'll stop being treated like shit. The Divine Visionary is basically the Wizard King, but it's for school. Now despite how much times I laughed while watching this show, I can't help but realize how average it is. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good show, but it's not anything special. If they can build a better story in the future, it can be a good show. But for now, it's just too simple. MASH is C tier. And then we have this show. This show represents everything wrong with anime today.
Demon Slayer!
Now the hype I had for the season was uncanny. It was unprecedented. I was so looking forward to this season. I was so happy when this shit got announced.
I was so excited that I read the manga. Every time an episode dropped, I was right front and center. I was hyped. All that just for the season to be mediocre. Now let me clarify. The season wasn't bad, it was just mediocre compared to the other ones. The ending wasn't as dramatic as Season 2's, or as iconic as Mugen Train. Now what I do want to talk about is the 4th and 5th rank demons. These guys were ass. They made Gyotaro seem like a god, especially the 5th one. Michiro mopped him. Now the 4th one I can give some credit because he has some nice magical powers. He could split himself into different personalities. It was cool, it was hard killing him. But the 5th guy was like, what was so hard about killing him? He wasn't hard at all. The only difficult thing about him was him, switching from different pots. But if he got over that, he was easy. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it didn't feel consequential. And then the explanation on how Muzan became a demon was so dumb. It just sounded like to me he overdosed on drugs. Now despite all I'm saying, I still think the season was alright. Just not as good as the previous two. I'm not gonna lie, what happened towards the end kinda scared me, but they figured it out. Now what rank is this season of Demon Slayer? C tier.